interesting and slightly late start. Okay, so we're here to talk about the Monkeybread plugin. We've been doing it for a little bit, but there's a reason for that because it's awesome. Seriously, I use it constantly all the time. There we go. Hi, everybody. Uh, I use the Monkeybread plugin all the time. Pretty much everyone in RCC uses it all the time. I don't know of many developers who develop without it. If you do, you are hamstringing yourself, mostly because there's a lot of really fun developer goodies that make your life a lot easier, like auto-completing variables and search variety of searches and scripting and all sorts of other things. Um, Also, it has a bajillion other functions. Okay, bajillion is not an accurate number, but have you hit 8,000 yet? You're gonna hit 8,000 sometime this year, probably, right? Is that what
Yeah,
you're?
probably later this year.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
see.
So, but until then, we are in the 7,000 range. We have a lot of really fun goodies. Today we're talking about SQL and Monkeybread plugins, which will be fun. With that all being said, I think we're probably good. Christian, do you want to share your screen for me and get us started on
Yeah,
today's
of
adventure?
course. So welcome on my screen.
Yes.
We are talking today about the little advent calendar series we had in the blog. So if you go on our website, you can go on the blog and you can go to the archive, and then there is the advent calendar posting. This is a summary one. Stephanie writes the series of 24 articles on the way to Christmas. Oh no, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 years now.
Woo!
And we talked before and last year about, this series here, about all the cool things the plugin can do. And today we are talking about SQL stuff here from last year, maybe the first 8 or so today. So let's see
Woo! That'll be
how that
fun.
goes. There's another thing I would like to show you, which is brand new and not yet on the website.
Ooh.
Let's say you have a bigger solution and you may have some custom functions. So inside a custom function, you usually have some things
Mm-hmm.
like a function or a certain field or a name or whatever text. And now with the MBS plugin, we have a search field. So there's a FileMaker search field here, and there's an MBS search field. And the MBS search field can search inside the function. That's brand new. So with FileMaker, I would just get the search by file name. With the MBS plugin, I can also search what's visible, like your field ref. And nowadays, with the next version, I can just search things inside the functions. So let's say I can search for Hunter and find the functions from Nick.
Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool that you can.
Yeah.
Oh, that could help us so much.
So you can search inside the function. It's available for Mac, and it will be in the next beta version. And I'm curious to see if you find a bug or if you
Yes.
enjoy it. You
I,
know?
I I think that's I don't know, all of your search functions I use to death. So like all the time.
Yeah. And there's another thing I made the last weeks, and that is I went through my documentation.
Mm-hmm.
And in the documentation, we have 6,700 snippets of example code.
Ooh.
You know, let's say you need to code something like here a little web service, and you find a little snippet like this one. And then you see here's a button, copy text and copy XML. And the copy XML button now works on all the 6,700 ones. I cleaned it up a lot. So I can make a new script here, and then I can just paste, and I can paste the example from the documentation.
Which is again insanely useful.
Yeah.
Because I use your examples all the time, but I usually have to go type it out myself. But with
Yeah.
XML shenanigans, I don't have to do that anymore.
To do this, I use my own little converter, which you can find on the dash page. Where is it? I put it here. There's stuff for people who want to make their, AI tool. And also people would like to use dash for a local database to search. And there's my converter where oops, now paste. Yeah, I paste it myself and then convert to XML. So this uses the expressions I use to pass the lines and then make an XML, just like my examples, and then you can paste that. So I can copy this and paste it here. Works also.
That's okay. That's also really cool. I didn't realize that existed. Did you add that? This was the
This
recent
I
addition?
just put it on the website recently because people are asking me all the time. It can just do the about 50 script steps I use in my examples.
Mm-hmm.
So not all the script steps, but if you have just, set variable lines, calling MBS functions, this may still be useful. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's very nifty. Okay. Thank you.
So close this. Now back to the advent calendar. So Stephanie wrote this. So let's go on the first page. So the first page is a little introduction. Oh, wait, before you go on the page, you can download here the sample file.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a PDF version where you can go through 78 pages with all the articles.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. And the sample file you can download. Let's open it. And this is here, let's see, a ton of things. And we may use this to reproduce a few of the example things. So back to the introduction. So the first question is, what's SQL? Well, structured SQL query language, which you can use in FileMaker, but I always have to tell people SQL is not the best way for most things in FileMaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Why is that?
yeah, the thing is, with SQL, FileMaker needs to download the tables you use into your local copy of the file. So if you have a file open from a server,
Mm-hmm.
you have a local cache file and it has to download the tables. So the SQL engine included in FileMaker can run on this data. But if you use a relationship in FileMaker, FileMaker has, the current record, the related records open in the graph, and it can just pull values through several connections. And with the SQL, it has to get the data and has to make the calculations. And this may take more time sometimes with SQL than without. On the other side, SQL can be faster. It depends what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And SQL can get you a value without having a relationship. So,
Ah.
and then there is SQL to other databases where you have to use SQL. And if you
Mm-hmm.
use the other databases through ESS at FileMaker, FileMaker writes SQL statements under the hood for you. So, yeah, it
Okay.
depends. Sometimes it may be good to implement something in both ways and see what's better.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay,
That makes
so we
sense.
can use SQL within FileMaker. There's a built-in SQL select command. You may know this, where you can make a query within FileMaker. The plugin also uses this interface, and it has a few, let's say, benefits, and it has a lot of things wrapped around the SQL, like our insert and update or audit logging.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we mostly use SQL to do things independently of the layout. So like you are in a layout and you want to quickly insert a record in a different table. So like you are on the layout for a person and you want to have a button which creates a record in a different table and
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to switch to the other layout. You may not want to make a quick card window to have a different context. So you can use our insert record function to insert a new record without switching layouts.
Okay, so its big use is being able to ignore context is what I'm hearing. Like you
Yeah.
don't need to worry about context scripting. Okay, got it.
So the built-in FileMaker function can only do select. The plugin also can, do insert and delete, and also create tables or create fields, remove fields. Yeah. So let's go to the next entry. So we have a sample table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has a definition. Let's see. We have here a few tables, and we have a few fields, and we have a little bit data, and we can run queries against this table with here select commands. So let's go. There are scripts here. There's a door2, and here are a couple of example scripts. So the cool thing is I can show this without uncommenting the line. You see the line is comment out.
Mm-hmm.
I can just go here and click the execute button here.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is from the plugin, the syntax check, the formatting, the run it. And so I can see, oh yeah, this gives me the names of some films, some movies.
Mm-hmm.
So we select is a keyword here. Then we have the list of fields we like to know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a field name field from the list of tables. So the table name is movie. Since names are just, simple text names, there is no special character. I don't need to put it in quotes. And I tell FileMaker to put in spaces between fields and return a new line after each record. So let's see, this is a movie table. The movie table has name, director, launch, genre. So let's say we want to know the director. So I can here run it and get a director.
Oh.
Now, I see I have here the space between. Let's say we can make delimiter a dot, a comma and a space. And again, yeah, very nice.
Oh, so it'll automatically add a comma between all field information. Okay.
Yeah, this is one way. Let's do another way. I mean, you can also just use here things like pipe. Let's see. Does FileMaker complain? No. Oh, I don't see the difference. Okay. Let's put in I don't know, plus. So yeah, we see the
Oh.
plus. So this can be used to concat two texts
Mm-hmm.
in a SQL query. So you can modify the data you get back by
Mm-hmm.
doing some calculations here, like concating strings. So could be useful. So let's go back to the article. So you can use this. Okay, we get the names back, and we can use star
Mm-hmm.
to pick all fields. Let's do that. Star.
Ooh.
Yeah. Some UUIDs for the record, some, modification dates and creation date and who made this mess, and the release year, and there's some number or sales. Okay. So star can be useful, but this is a thing. If you do a select query, you get back all this data as a big text block. And if you ask for all the fields, you may get a lot of data. So it's always good to narrow down the data you get.
Uh, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah. You can stop me if you find a question.
I was
This is
hunting for
basic
questions.
SQL. This is all SQL, execute SQL.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and FileMaker got a execute SQL E command.
What
You
does that
know,
do?
well, if you have a mistake here, let's say movie, I don't know, put in invalid name.
Mm-hmm.
FileMaker would just give you a question mark,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have to guess what the mistake is. So Clarus made this E version I have to run it in FileMaker. Actually, not through the plugin. So with the E version, FileMaker gives you an error message, you know.
Oh, so it actually tells
Otherwise,
you
you would
what
have
if.
to use the plugin. The plugin also can get you the error message,
Mm-hmm.
but you know they had to make a new function to not break compatibility between older solutions. So yeah, they have to make a new function to, which also returns errors. So yeah, we can do things in the SQL like where we put in a field name. So we can put in a calculation to decide if a record is included in the result,
Mm-hmm.
which could be here to pick by a director or any other field. And here's a more complicated thing, you know, pick by director and then by the launch here and exclude some other director, you know. There's a lot of things you can do in SQL.
It's more readable than I
But
expected, to be honest.
yeah, you can write it readable if you want, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You also see we usually write the keywords in capital letters
Mm-hmm.
to distinguish them from the names of the fields.
Got it. Yes.
Then we use values. So here we have a placeholder in the SQL, and after our delimiters, we pass in the value for the parameter. This has a reason because, you know, let's see, we can select movie. Like here's an example. If someone enters into the field something like Chris Columbus or not director Chris Columbus, you know what that makes? So if we put in something like wait, debug step. So now the variable is set. So I can run this and it will find all movies. So also I have a filter here to only find things with director.
Mm-hmm.
This this variable contains the value which tells the SQL to get me all the values. You know? So
Oh.
this is a security problem. Yeah, test has this text. So basically, I could also just put in an or whatever. I could put different things in. So always use this prepared statements where you have the placeholder. And so this is probably encoded,
Mm-hmm.
always on the quotes, please. And I can run it and I get no data because there is no director which is actually named like this expression.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no director with or not in the name.
Yes.
So it's something you must be aware of. And so please don't put text from the user into your SQL statement. Always use the question marks for that.
Interesting. Not something I would have ever thought about.
Yeah. Okay. So we have that. And Stephanie, of course, explains this a little bit. Here, oh, this is a mistake. I need to fix it. This dollar text should not go into quotes. Because now we are passing the name of the variable, but we want
Mm-hmm.
to pass the value, you know.
Yes.
Okay, if that's our
We do have
little
a
SQL beginner.
That's a good little beginner run. We do have some quick questions from earlier that popped up about the converter got people's attention. Like they're like, oh. The first question I have, which I'm going to ask you about it, is can you copy paste from ChatGPT and then to FileMaker?
Well, if ChatGPT can write you valid script steps, good question. So you can put something into this converter and see if it works. If it doesn't work, you could tell me. maybe send me the snippets, and I can maybe add or tune my script to also cover the script steps it doesn't understand. But it's really so ChatGPT must really write set variable,
Mm-hmm.
bracket, value, double column. So it must really match what FileMaker outputs. Otherwise, it may not work.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a little thing I made in, some spare time. And it works well with my example snippets.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to day 3 and see what the next thing is. So we have in the plugin a function fm execute file SQL, which works similar to the function in FileMaker,
Mm-hmm.
but you can specify the file it acts on.
Oh, so you could
Oh,
theoretically go
so
grab information from different FileMaker files?
yes. But for this, I have to inform you that there's security, and security may tell you you're not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Margaret. Yeah. Validate cross-file plugin access. So the FM
Oh.
plugin permission is a thing which, yeah, makes trouble for people. So if FileMaker has this permission, you need to have it be allowed for your current account. So you can make a query to a different file. So you must have it enabled in the other file. If you have more than one file, you must have permissions to read from that file or for the plugin to launch a script there. If this permission doesn't exist in an old solution, the plugin is allowed everything. So permissions is important. So you can see we can use a plugin to execute a SQL statement. Again, pass in our delimiters, pass in values for our question marks, and pass in the file name of the file we would like to query. And I can run it again, and I see, yeah, Home Alone as a movie.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
I can also use here no file name,
Mm-hmm.
which is the current one, the current
Got it.
context.
So it defaults
So
to current one.
yeah, so we also have the older execute SQL statement, which doesn't have the file parameter and doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have the question marks. So it can only do a SQL statement where you actually have the values in the SQL. And so please don't use that anymore. Please use the newer one, which takes parameters. So here's an insert statement. If you like to execute that, insert into, it's a keyword. Then there's a table where you go into, you specify the field names, and then you can specify a record, or you can actually have several records here. So you can make a new record if you like.
Which is be very nice, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, but this is, low level, you write SQL yourself.
Mm-hmm.
We also have functions where you don't need to write it yourself. So let's see. No, I want to see the current. So we can insert something and put in values for the question marks, get a nice, the select, okay, get a new. So we can also do some things you may not want to do. Drop table. Like, let's make it copy paste. So we have now a table. Okay, save. And now we can go and make a script step. So whenever you let a user enter something which goes in a SQL statement, this can be porting rules. Okay. So this can be very dangerous. Let's see. Oh, it's gone, you know. So top table removes a table. And if someone gets to execute some, SQL like this, they can basically delete all the tables from your solution. So please make backups. Okay.
Making sure there's no comments, or rather, no questions. This is actually really cool because I knew very little. Well, I knew about the select stuff because that's what's been, SQL has been used a lot for like AI tools.
Mhm.
Could you use I assume the MBS functions for AI tools? You wanted your AI tools to be a little more expansive rather than just hunting for things.
Well, you could have your AI tools able evaluate things in FileMaker, and
Mm-hmm.
then that includes SQL statements.
There you go.
I said it could be dangerous. Like, what if the AI tool takes a comment from you to say to delete all your stuff,
Yes,
Hmm.
that would be bad.
Okay, so let's take a next thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a SQL request and get back some data as a text. But what if we don't give you text, but we store the result in memory of the result, and then you can work with this result set while it's in memory, like it's instead of giving it to you as text, we have it in memory as columns and rows, and so you can access individual fields and you can modify the things in the result set. So we have our FM SQL execute function, which does this. And the return value is a reference number to the new stored SQL result in memory. And later you call the release function to please release the memory and make sure that all the memory is freed again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an example here. We run our SQL command to get the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can use our SQL text function to actually turn the result back into text with a couple of options. Like you can just get,
Mm-hmm.
the, a few rows, a few columns, whatever separators you need. So you can get back the lines you need. Like you could ask for the text of each record, or you could ask for the text of one column,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get some text. While you have it in memory, let's go to the function list here. Um, is it? Yeah, you can do things like get it as CSV. Like if you have to make your own CSV export
Oh.
for passing to other people, you can just make the query with SQL and then ask the plugin for the CSV. And again, here you can make a selection of what you want, and you can use separators, and we have flags here. And here's a little sample script which does a SQL query to then get the CSV and writes it to a text file.
Oh, that's really cool. Quick question. Does SQL count rows from 1 or 0?
Wait, how would it count it? We have a row ID. I think it starts with 1 for the first record.
Okay.
But our functions here, if you specify a thing like it's always 0 based. So you have to tell the plugin basically how many rows to skip to find the one you want, how many columns to skip. So the good thing is, since we don't give you the thing as text, the field function can also give you back dates, numbers, container values without converting them to text in between. So you can do some math like average calculations, min and max, sums. So if you have a column with, some values you like to sum up, you can just use a function to calculate a sum of a certain column. Like here, select the price from some products, and then get the sum or the minimum, maximum of them, and use that.
Got it.
And you can get JSON.
Ah,
So
that's also nice.
if you have the stored result in memory and you can export the content to JSON, which maybe you are useful. Yeah, there's example snippets. There's also insert records. So you have something in memory for one table and you like to insert it to FileMaker into another table, or in the same table, of course. Or you like to insert or update a different table. Or you may transfer it to, your MySQL database. So there are
Uh,
a lot of possibilities.
is it table restricted or can I do it between two FileMaker databases?
Yeah, you can do it between two. You can make a selected one and
Mm-hmm.
then the insert to the other.
Got it.
That's why we have the file name parameter
Ah,
here
yes.
and the table name. So, and the field names. So the field names don't need to match. The table name can be a different one and the file name can be different. This is all very flexible for people to move a lot of data. You can also get the data as XML if you need that. So where was my article? So let's say we also have the matrix functions, which is a different way to organize a lot of values in memory in a two-dimensional array. And you can convert your SQL result into a matrix, and then you can use functions from the matrix component, Here, like also getting CSV, it's basically the same under the hood, and also HTML. So we can give you the content of your result set as HTML, and you can load it into a web viewer. So let's see. So we make a query here, find all the movies launched before 2000, convert this to a matrix, ask the matrix for its content as HTML, and then go to a web viewer and load it into the web viewer with the data URL. And then you see the HTML with your result set. That's very handy for debugging.
Yes.
So you could have a web viewer there to show the content of your result set. So don't forget to free all the memory. We have this release all function, which is very dangerous because it releases all the objects. And if you're running on a server environment, you may have other scripts running on different threads, which may need the result set. And if you free it, it's gone.
Oh. Oh, it frees
No,
everything.
everything. So you can your script should release all the things it created on the way going through the script. Like your script creates a few things and
Mm-hmm.
then on the end release. You can, of course, keep things in memory for the duration of your application. Like some
Mm-hmm.
people load some things in the start script and keep them around in memory.
Mm-hmm.
Like this, like a dictionary to look up city names for zip codes.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you can load on the start of the solution, and then you can do the lookup anywhere without loading it again.
Oh, okay, that would be nice. But if you hit release all, it would release that as well. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Release all is more like if you're debugging and you like to clean out everything. Because when you're debugging, we often stop scripts to edit them, and then we have a lot of objects in memory. And usually this is not a big problem, but matrix or SQL set can be very big. And your computer will get slower if you waste gigabytes on data you don't need. So, okay, let's go to next level. Door 5, count your fields and columns. So we can have functions that can run on a SQL result set from different tables. So you could make different queries and then have a function to work on this result set. and it may need to know how many rows and fields it has. So we have functions to tell you that. So when you get back the result, this thing should have 2 fields, and it may have 10 or 20 rows. So the function may be useful to know that. Oh, it has 12. Then we can actually use our SQL text function to specify exactly which area we want. And in this case, we get all the data, because if you pass no values, so empty quotes, for the area, you get the full result set. But here we say from row 0 to the last one, and from first field to the last field. And with 2 returns here. Okay. So then also you can do counts in SQL.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can have a field, statistics field in FileMaker to get the number of records in a table. You can also just say, show all records and then ask for the count. And for that, FileMaker actually may ask the server to get the count. But if you
Oh.
do a select count in SQL, FileMaker may actually have to download the data. So
Oh, interesting. Can you not do SQL query, blah, SQL queries won't go through the server at all?
yeah, you can also use perform script on server to run the SQL on the server. But usually it runs on the client, and the
Mm-hmm.
SQL engine needs to have the data available to do operations on it and to just count, but we have here a thing like we have a criteria, so we don't, so it has to have the whole movie table has to loop through all the records to find those matching the criteria and then count how many it found. Yeah. So, but it may be useful because you can ask for a count without having a relationship.
Got it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, let's go through. Here's another example. We got something, we ask for the counts and have the. So we have a count, and the count is a 1 row with 1 field, and that's just the number with the result. So the SQL execute returns just a number. So next thing is, this is a little bit difficult. So it counts, but it doesn't count all the records, but it counts how many launch dates are actually distinct from each other. So it eliminates duplicates first and then counts the result and still applies the condition. So it used to be 11 here,
Mm-hmm.
and if you eliminate the duplicate launch dates, it's 10. Sorry. Okay. So next door,
Joins. Okay. Is this
joins.
like
Yeah,
relationships?
exactly. So you may have 2 tables, they have different fields, but they have something that connects them. Like there's a primary key here for the ID of the movie, and then the the roles table has an ID of the movie. So you can do the inner join, and you see Stephanie draw some graphics. So we make an inner join, which means we ask, we select fields, and you see we prefix the field names with the name of the table if the field name is in both tables, or, well, you can do it always, but it's only needed if the thing is not unique. The field name is not unique. So we pick things from both tables and then tell it to read from the movies to table and join with the roles table and match them based on the condition here that the primary key matches the movie, which finds us all movies that have an actor
Mm-hmm.
have a role, and then the matching role. So if a movie doesn't have a role, it's excluded. You know? So only movies with people playing inside. So you can read the text if you like. And
Okay.
this is the whole thing in the script. And
So wait, you're connecting. I'm making sure I'm understanding. You're connecting them in the select thing, and then you're pulling information from that connection.
yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
we let the SQL engine go through both tables, match them, find the matches, and then give us back these fields. So, and you see here, we get the movie ID, the film title, and then who's playing something, no, the director and the year and the actor. So you see, the sample database has a few people there.
Got it.
Then
Okay.
the, so you may need to do these joins to, well, get related data, and then you can do a left join. The left join allows you to get all the movies and the actors, but if a movie doesn't have an actor, you still get the movie because the left outer join allows you to get the data from the first table, even if the second table doesn't have a match. So that's here in the SQL. We have the lect, then the fields we like to have from the movies table with a left join to the second table. So the inner join was only find things in both tables, and the left join is find everything in the first table and then look in the second table for matches. So the right join or the full auto join is not supported with FileMaker currently, which would be the other thing that we could also find actors that are not in a movie.
Huh.
So in FileMaker, if you want to do that, you have to reverse and you have to do a left outer join with the other table first.
Interesting. Okay.
So, and then we have another thing as cross join, which looks on both tables and finds you all the data in both tables that match together, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Okay.
it finds, yeah, it doesn't do the match, you know. It just gets you all the records from each table with all the records from other tables. So
Okay. So
the
there's no
result set
matching
would be
happening.
huge.
Okay, so it's like using the one, like the almost like the preference table, and everything that equals one will match. And since everything has at least one in it, it all comes back.
Yep. Okay, let's go to the next one. So next thing is the size entries and the types. So there's a thing that types may play a role. So let's see what we're doing. We got our query with the cross join put into a little script so we can run it. So, and so we want to go through the values and actually use the field function to get back the result of every value, which avoids the conversion to text. And this allows us to put it into a different database. So we can make a query in one table and go on a different layout with a different table and make new records
Mm-hmm.
and copy the values. And because this is a text field in the original table, this will be a text value. This is a number value, so this will come back as a number value, and you can put it into a number field.
Okay. Do the fields have to match the values? Like, what happened if you try to put a number value into a text field? Would that?
That would convert it to text.
Okay.
The problem is usually if FileMaker makes a difference between a text value and a number value or a date value. If it's coming back as text, it's compared like text. If it's coming back as a date, it's compared um, as a date. Like you may know in FileMaker, let's see, I have the data viewer here. Like if you would have to make a comparison and you would have something like a date. So I have the German localization. Yeah. Yeah. So if I have a date like this, and I have a different date and ask if one is smaller, and this gives 2. Now imagine I would have a US formatting. See. Okay, this would still work, yeah, but what if this is a month? So it would sort things by months first. Wait. um, I think I just messed up. It, uh, uh, I forgot the example. So there's a case where the text comparison gives you a different result than the number comparison. But I would have to come up with.
Sorry, I got a little lost. What's the issue that's happening here that you're trying to resolve?
Um, the thing is, if you compare things by data type
Mm-hmm.
and compare them by text.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to have it as the right data type because, as the question is 20 smaller than 200, something like this. Um, And if you compare the numbers, it would give a different thing than if you compare the text. And I'm just thinking about what was I'm too tired. So there are examples where comparing by number and comparing by text doesn't give the same result. So you want to have the result as a field. So, okay. Okay. So you can get the fields and you can ask for the field types. So the plugin knows the value of the field and it can give you the type of what's in the field. And so you know it's a number or it's not a number. Yeah. Um, so we execute it and we find something. There's a like search. That's also something you may do in SQL. You can use like for comparing text, and then you can use percent for a wildcard, and you can find all the text related to this wildcard.
We have a quick question.
Yeah.
In cross joins, if one table has the number 4 for the field connected and the other does not, will it not show?
The cross join crosses all things from both tables. So all records from the left table all records in the right table independent of their values.
So it doesn't care whether anything matches.
Yeah, it doesn't match at all. It just gives you all the data, which usually doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, yeah, which means, well, I mean, the name doesn't make much sense. It really should just be called pull all data.
So with the like search, we have the placeholder percent for a lot of characters and underscore for one character, which can be useful if you make a query with SQL. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
The underscore is a single character, and the percent is several characters. Let's see, we have a sample here. Is it here? Execute. Oh, yeah. Wait. Copy. So, when I run it here,
Mm-hmm.
I better put in the other function. So
Turn it
around
back
it.
into text.
So I get text back. So I get here Mrs. Miracle because this matches all. So this matches Miracle on the. So it matches two movies now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because
So
it
does it
matches.
just pull the first at the underscore?
Now the underscore is for any character matching.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
it used to be here. We want to match one character and then we want to match several, which usually doesn't make sense, but it's interesting that it matches the M here and then
Mm-hmm.
matches the Mrs. there. But on the other movie, it doesn't match because
Interesting.
there is no other character before the miracle.
Oh, okay, I see.
There is nothing to match. But here, this can be 0 or more characters. So if you do SQL, you will quickly learn that, and you may just ask your favorite chatbot about all the little details. Okay.
Between percentages is like a pattern count.
Yeah. This. I don't. No, no. This is just have 0 or more characters. So we look for something starting with a letter, some more letters, then miracle as text, and another percent. You can have more percentages there. Wait a minute. So like you could have here percent and then 34 and percent, and it would still find you the movie Miracle in the 34th Street. Oh, let's make another one. SQL JSON records. Let's try this one. Oh, we need field names. Field names is name. So we get the result back as JSON. So miracle on 34. So we can have the percent in the middle and also find text between it. So you can have some pattern to search for text. Okay. Oh yeah, we're coming up to the end of the time. So let's take a look on the error handling on the door 8. As you may see, we have here a SQL query that has a little mistake. The
Mm-hmm.
column name
Does not
does
exist.
not exist. So the MBS functions return the error with an MBS prefix and then whatever the SQL engines spits out. And we just return it to you, and you can show it in the dialog, and you can use our MBS is error function to actually know if there was an error. We also have useful functions like here, last error message and last SQL. So last error message gives you an error, and here a couple of errors that can happen. It's my collection. If you find another one, please let me know. There's usually a placeholder here because this is coming from the secret statement, so you would have to find out which table name is affected, and then you can complete the error message. Or the SQL engine does it for you, yeah. So there's also the last secret statement. So let's go back here, last SQL. So like if you do use our update or insert functions, this tells you the SQL statement the plugin created for you. So the last SQL statement that run, which can be useful because you never know what the plugin under the hood writes for you, and you may want to inspect it to see whether plugin messed up or you didn't provide the correct value for parameter. Yeah. Or let me just show you this. MBS. Let's say I use our insert record and put in a table name that doesn't exist, test, and then here name and 1, 2, 3, and then MBS FM execute SQL last SQL. So you can run this, and you see how the table test doesn't exist, and here's the SQL statement that, well, this table doesn't exist.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually a
So
really
you
nice
see,
little error. I wish I had such detailed errors when I was script debugging.
yeah,
Does SQL tell you when you mess up your syntax? Like if you try to ask it to do an impossibility, like I don't even know what that would look like, but
you mind if I just put here a different letter,
yeah.
and then says, there's an
Ah,
error in the syntax of the query.
okay.
Well, if it doesn't, if your condition is not, correct, it will just give you no result. I mean, there is if I say here, if director is something we don't have, then the result may be 0. Oh, yeah, still the name doesn't match. So I can just put in here, I have to, and so if the filter eliminates all records, then you have no records left. Yeah. The parameters can come from a variable or a field or just text you put in. And I think that's all for today.
I mean, you covered a lot.
Yeah, and I have to think about it. So we had the problem that sorting by name,
hmm
by text and by number gives different results. And
Yes.
also sorting by date and but I have to figure out which values that was. Maybe tomorrow.
I mean, it's a good discussion, honestly. I mean, I learned a lot about SQL just watching this. I knew way more about it than I now than I did previously. So, I'm excited to. Is it SQL or is it SQL? Or is it both? Am I starting an argument that's like ancient, like GIF versus GIF?
Yep.
Amazing. Cool. I'm not going to indulge in that very far then. All right. Thank you very much, Christian. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And I will see all y'all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.